Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at the 10 weirdest PlayStation 3 games. For this list, we're looking at the most bizarre oddities to debut on the PS3. We're not necessarily saying these are bad games, but when paired up next to God of War or Little Big Planet, they seem a bit out of place. Have you played any of these titles? What was the weirdest game you played on PlayStation 3? Let us know down in the comments, and I will see you there.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Puppeteer.
Listen, you're going to drop dead if you go without a head.
While we were all foaming at the mouth for the brand new PlayStation 4, PS3 had one last excellent exclusive to show us that unfairly fell through the cracks. Puppeteer was a charming action platformer where players interact with enemies and environments with a magical pair of scissors. What's so weird about this game exactly? Well, there is a lot of decapitation going on in this game. Collect heads to keep your character alive, lose your last head and it's game over. Yeah, this takes on a much darker tone than its premise would lead you to believe.
I want him cornered! Find that thief, or I'll find someone who can!
Tokyo Jungle. Before Puppeteer, we had this strange survival game. Mankind is no longer around, leaving the animal kingdom to fend for itself. Dogs, cats, rabbits, gorillas, and the like are all left on their own to survive, repopulate, and become the new dominant species. Tokyo Jungle has a ton of different animals for you to play as, and there are even a handful of bizarre species to unlock, like the Abo robot dogs and even mammoths. It's an interesting game, and it's a title that we would have never expected to see come out of PlayStation. Katamari Forever. Okay, so we're probably cheating a bit. After all, this is a game from the Katamari series, which is known for having some pretty bizarre storylines and characters. Though, what else would you expect from a game about rolling up objects to incinerate them into stars? Katamari Forever is particularly odd due to the addition of Robo King, who clumsily destroys every star in the sky, while the king of all cosmos is too busy sleeping. No longer do we have an uncomfortable bulge in the dead center of the screen, now it's a shy and timid robot who resembles our dad. Yeah, this checks out. Hell yeah, Wrath of the Dead Rabbit. Developed by the now defunct Arcado Studio, Hell Yeah was an absolute gem of a game despite its absurdity. A skeletal bunny named Ash is the Prince of Hell and a recent victim of the paparazzi. Furious about his secret love for baths and rubber duckies going public, he sets out on his trusty giant buzzsaw and slaughters anyone who gets in his way.
Let's grind!
However, in order to correctly off your targets, you will need to succeed in a small, WarioWare-esque microgame that ranges from timing button presses to answering trivia questions. It truly is a bizarre game, and worth checking out if you still have a PS3. Psst, or you can nab it on Steam if it's more convenient for you. It's worth the price of admission, really. Dustforce. If you want a platformer that's more in line with speedrunning and the like, you've probably already had your eye on Dustforce. For those unfamiliar, this is a platformer where players control a league of elite janitors. Yes, it's a strangely hilarious concept, and it's also an exciting game to pick up and play. From double jumps to wall jumps and everything in between, Dustforce gives you a ton of control in how you traverse levels, and it feels good to be able to pull off maneuvers seamlessly. Heavy Rain.
I could go for a cup of coffee.
Now, Heavy Rain is one of those games we're calling weird because, well, it simply is weird. It's weird in gameplay, weird in story, weird in its voice acting, just about every aspect of it kind of puts us off a little bit. First off, menial actions like opening a door or even picking up objects will sometimes demand way too much strain on the controller and our fingers.
Go, Jason! Yeah! No!
Then you have that super uncomfortable sex scene that does demand your interaction, and it's just, ugh. And how many times has Jason been memed to death since this game came out? It's hard to take Heavy Rain even slightly seriously anymore.
Hey, Jason! Hey, be careful, Mike. Watch it! Jason!
Fat Princess. This was another one of those games where you look at it and wonder how Sony went about greenlighting this. Fat Princess has such a ridiculous premise and art style that it's hard to imagine Sony today even wanting to make it in the first place. Fight the opposing faction to rescue your princess from their clutches, while also feeding their princess cake to hinder their rescue.
We have captured an outpost.
In contrast to its cutesy appearance, Fat Princess is a violent and bloody game, but that only adds to its charm. Unfortunately, the game didn't garner a huge enough following to warrant a sequel. We did get Fat Princess Adventures in 2015, but it was nothing like this, and it sucked. I want my $5 back.
We have the princess.
World Gone Sour.
Oh, look at the big man. Throw your weight around by jumping and pushing down to smash stuff.
I can't believe what I'm about to say, but PlayStation did have a Sour Patch Kids video game, as did Xbox, and yeah, this is it. This is a real game. Released on PS3 and Xbox 360, World Gone Sour puts players in the shoes of a Sour Patch Kid who wishes to be eaten. It was like a smaller Oddworld clone, and a very decent one at that. But to no one's surprise, World Gone Sour didn't get much notoriety and would be delisted from PlayStation Network and Xbox Arcade in 2015. But you want to know something even weirder about this game? This was published by Capcom. Yeah, that Capcom.
Smells like candy, tastes like victory.
Flower. Back in 2009, you'd get called a baby for playing anything that wasn't Call of Duty or Battlefield. Heaven forbid you still played Mario games at the time. But even today, you would still get weird looks if someone unfamiliar with the PS3 days catches you playing Flower. Indeed, this is not your typical video game. You don't see EA or Sega putting out games where you control a wind current of flower petals, but this really is a game that skeptics should give a chance. There's something freeing and fun about simply dancing around valleys to a serene soundtrack, collecting more and more petals to color your winds. Don't knock it till you try it. Noby Noby Boy. This may very well be the strangest game to ever be published by Bandai Namco, and it was also, unfortunately, a big commercial failure. While controlling the character simply known as Boy, players interact with different objects and earn points based on how much they stretch across the world. Every corner you turn, the game throws some absurd visuals at you, each more bizarre than the last, or at least equally bizarre. Even today, we're not sure how to make heads or tails of this game, and it is probably this level of oddness that has caused many players to steer clear of it. Which is a shame because it is a decent game, but to each their own.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.